So, Tyler, Keith, plugged on.
And Sam.
It's Game of the Year time. End of the year, end of 2018. We're going to give you our top 10 video games 2018.
Yeah.
We put a list together. And this is, everything we played. Well, not everything, but, we only put shit on here that we played. So if we didn't play...
We didn't play Battlefield 1, and you think that should be towards the top, but we didn't.
It's Battlefield 5 this year.
Battlefield 5, right. It is Battlefield
Yeah.
5. Oops. Well,
You're fake.
Yeah, I am. It's fine.
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite.
Fortnite Game of the Year 2018.
Overwatch Game of the Year 2018.
Still mad. Paragon, they took that down.
R.I.P.
Yeah, still mad about that. Good game.
It's okay, Fortnite's still around, though.
Yeah, but it's not Paragon.
Yeah. Number 10. Destiny 2 Forsaken. Now, yes, this is an expansion, but something I think we all got some good enjoyment out of, and honestly, it puts Destiny 2 where it should have been from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like with Destiny 1 and the Taken King. But there's a lot of great content in here. The story's fun to play through. The 2 new zones are great to explore and lots of interesting stuff. Gambit is the highlight of it all to me.
Gambit's awesome.
Gambit is incredibly fun to play. I've hardly played Crucible since Forsaken has come out because I always just want to play Gambit because that's the best of both worlds. But yeah, a lot of just smart quality of life improvements over Destiny 2 that really have put it in a great spot in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the thing is that why maybe Forsaken does more for Destiny 2 than the Taken King did for Destiny 1 was when the Taken King came out, we didn't know necessarily how good Destiny could be. You know what I mean? So it was just straight up improvement. Whereas Destiny 2 was like a little bit of a step back, and so then we knew, and they've done a lot of cool things with it, like with the lore stuff that is kind of cool, which is super awesome to me. They just kind of announced some big thing just happened that I'm just like, which
What is it?
If you it's online everywhere. So if you do the thing, you do the challenges, you do Mara's court, you usually get to talk to her and Mara Sov and do things. But there's a cutscene. Somebody gets brought back to life. That's what I'll say. It's not who you think /want.
I'll have to look.
Cade.
No,
Look at it afterwards. I have not seen this.
It is like a lot of people are not happy. If that gives you a hint on who came back to life, a lot of people are not happy.
Okay.
Does it have to do with the ending?
Of the Forsaken?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
But the way they do it's super interesting. But that's all I'll say. But like they added, the Gambit's cool. The new areas are beautiful in separate ways. Tangled Shore is like a desolate wasteland, whereas the Dreaming City is like this just one of the most gorgeous things I've seen in a video game.
Yeah.
It's just all the quality of life stuff, and it's fun. I genuinely want to play Destiny again.
Yeah.
So,
Number 9, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
I think Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of like the most underrated games in the past few years. It doesn't get everything. It doesn't get everything right. I'll say that. There are some things that are a little off in terms of like when the game first came out. I know a lot of people had issues with like hunting, like with a bow. The sword fighting is a bit weird to kind of get used to at first. But everything else in the game, I think, a lot of people will talk about like Red Dead Redemption 2 this year. Like, oh, well, there's one thing in Red Dead Redemption 2. If you walk into a shop and you're dirty or whatever, it's like they won't serve you or look at you a different way or whatever. Or they'll say something about you. But not that this was like the first game that ever did it, but you're kind of sort of honor in the game sort of is based on like some of it's like the armor that you're wearing, how dirty is it, how clean is it. If you're covered in blood, people are going to like treat you differently. Your chances of like I guess like persuading people using like your standing in society is you're not going to have a good enough chance. In a lot of ways it brings a lot of like RPG stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, almost like roll of the dice feeling things to the game. It's a huge, awesome world. The one thing that's really cool about this game that, it doesn't make it any better or any worse than a lot of other games, but the fact that this is all real to a degree. Like it's a real setting. It's in ways sort of real people. It's, it's not like The Witcher where it's like this fantasy world and everything. It's actually like all this real place, and it's awesome to play in. And it's sort of like one of those things that I guess Assassin's Creed tries to do is like, yeah, like history is interesting. I really do like that. But yeah, the game is very, it covers all kinds of things. It has like its own economy. All that's kind of things you expect with like a big game like this. It covers so much ground. I think it's just a really, really fun game to play if you can get past a few things. That's the thing. I think it's not for everyone, but if you sort of get into it enough, it's got you.
Mm-hmm.
We like long, slow games.
Right. Well then, we have something else towards the top. If you like long and
slow
games.
Yeah. my nuts.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Gris. Which just came out recently.
Yeah, I play this on Switch. It reminds me of a game like Journey or Abzu, where it's just kind of like this, I don't want to say adventure, but it's just this experience in a way. The music is unbelievably amazing. The way it sort of reacts with the environment. Like in the first little bit of playing the game, you're kind of going through, and there's like these sort of like winds that will blow you back, but every time like before the wind starts blowing, like you get this like this music starts playing a little bit more, and it just gives you this feeling of like something about the music kind of reminds me of like horror movies and stuff like that, where it's like it fills you with this sense of like dread, like, oh shit, this is coming. And the game, it blows you back a little bit, and then you keep on going. But something about just the way the magic of the game, the magic of video games sometimes, it just gives you this feeling of like, oh shit, this is like a big gust of wind. It makes you feel something. I think the music is the biggest thing that I love about the game. The music is amazing. The art of the game is absolutely amazing. The sort of message of the game, which I know a lot of like smaller indie games the past couple of years have sort of been, tackling subjects like this, and not as much bigger games, but maybe here and there. But it's sort of like the game is sort of like this representation of depression and kind of getting over it and then falling back into it and just playing throughout the game. I remember going back, like as I was playing, I didn't read this before I started playing the game, but in the middle of playing the game, I read about like how the game does have these sort of messages in the game, and then just instantly thinking back to everything that I've done in the game so far, it's like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense now. Like I kind of got that idea, but yeah, it's nice that games really tackle that, and they do it in such a just like the game isn't, to me, it's not challenging, but it's more about just playing it and going through this experience and just coming out on the other side feeling like, okay, I gained something from this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's one of those like indie games it was the indie game for me this year. Like, because the past couple of years, it feels like there's Oxenfree, Night in the Woods. I don't know what's going to be next year, but every year it seems like there's like an indie game that just kind of blows me away. That's really fun.
Right. Number 7, Forza Horizon 4. This game is really great, and I think Playground Games really, with Forza Horizon 3, it's kind of like, how's it get better than this? And then 4, they make it even better. Somehow. I think the whole seasons aspect is really, really sweet to this. It does change up the environments a lot, and it's crazy to me that they've remade this map 4 different times. It's already a huge thing, but why not? Let's just do it just so we can change it up every week. I mean, it's crazy, but then, the racing is just as good. A lot of the tracks, routes, whatever you want to call them, are great, and I love the whole play as you want sort of nature of the game. If you like dirt racing, just do dirt racing. You can level all that up all the way. You get a ton of shit from doing it. You level yourself up. If you like doing street racing, do that. If you like doing the different events, like they have some, there's something, I'm blanking on what it's called, but where they're like shooting a movie and you have to do these time trials in very specific vehicles. You can level up that way. You can level up by doing creating paint schemes, photo mode. I mean, it literally anything that you want. You play as you want with that, and then the way they've changed like online connectivity is fantastic. Before you would see drivatars going around, you can still have that, but now it's real world players that you can kind of just team up with if you want. They can't just wreck you if just run up on your ass and just take you out. They can't do that. It kind of ghost them out, but it's still there. It makes the world feel a lot more alive. Then the Forzathon events, they really changed that up where it's like legitimately a public event. Then you have like 10 people going in this Forzathon and they're all doing fucking, there's different like speed gaps. So you would go through the speed gap kind of over and over again to try to get a better time, and it collectively goes to a certain thing, and you have a certain amount of time overall for the entire team to get through the whole thing. Or drifting. Drifting's probably the most fun, where they put it on a mountain and then you just see everyone just drifting different ways around all these corners, and you have to get a certain amount of distance. Like the way they change that stuff up just is smart. It's a fantastic game. I think it's the best racing game ever made. It's my favorite racing game ever. It's awesome. Number 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah. Smash is, I mean, this game is in a lot of ways everything that they advertise it. It is everything you would ever want from a Smash game. It's got all the characters and all the stages, or most of the stages. I don't know if they have all the 3DS ones.
They have almost every stage, yeah.
Like I can think of one off the top of my head, which is the one DK stage where you get fired into cannons in the foreground and background. They don't have that one, but maybe they'll add that one eventually. Who knows? But like, they got all that. They've got 8-player Smash is back. Now you can play 8-player Smash on any stage, which is both a great thing and also a terrible thing, depending on the stage. You can do the 3v3 or 5v5 thing, which is pretty cool, just because it makes you have to think differently about your character choices. But the only thing that's like super annoying is unlocking characters, just because it's like just seems to be unnecessarily difficult to unlock characters.
Yeah, like it's exciting to see who you're getting, but it just takes forever, and then 2, they made it so fucking hard.
At least the first time around.
Crazy.
Like usually when you go for the rematch, it's a bit easier. But like the first time around, it's like, am I somehow like? It's such a higher level of... Does the game think I'm at a higher level of skill than I am?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because like I tried, I was like, let me see. I dropped in, I just played at the standard like 3, and the CPU was still as hard as if I did it as a 6. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, but it's fun. You can... I've done this a couple times. You can just use it as like your Switch is an extra big iPod and just listen to game soundtracks. I've done that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen to like Metroid or Castlevania or all kinds of other stuff like that. It's the best Smash game.
It really is. I mean, even then, like World of Light's cool. The Spirits thing is pretty sweet if you want to dive into it. But yeah, I mean it's Smash, and it's got almost literally everything in it, and it's such a comprehensive museum of awesomeness
of like
from
gaming,
so many different franchises.
I mean, mostly Nintendo history, but from gaming history.
Yeah, exactly. I would say the one thing that's not here that I wish was here is the create a stage thing. Like that's something we liked a lot on the Wii U. You can't do that in here. R.I.P. Smash the Ball.
Maybe they'll add it.
Who knows?
DLC, you gotta buy it. Nintendo's just catching on to that. Oh, you can make people pay for anything online? Dude, let's do it.
It's just the best multiplayer game you can play, in my opinion. It's just total chaos. Smash is best when it's chaotic to me.
Yeah.
So
when you lose yourself 10 times on the screen, it's like, oh,
yeah,
damn.
Why not?
Yeah, and I win every game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
5, Detroit Become Human. This was almost your game in here.
Almost. I really liked it. I for a long time I actually had the 2 and 3 Switch, but I think I love games like this where.
Did you say 1, 2, 3 Switch?
I said I almost had my 2 and 3 Switch.
Oh, okay.
No, not almost 1, 2, 3 Switch. No, God no.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
that came out
the
last
game's
year.
called?
Yes, 1, 2, 3 switch. But
whatever.
I love games that are like this because it does surprisingly well. You have multiple characters whose storylines intertwine, but then you also it's this heavily choice-based game, and I love Telltale games, even though they piss me off. I love making the decision aspects of those games, and I just feel like this is one of the most realized of those like choice-based games ever be of like these kind of narrative, choose your own adventure games, because like you get a different side of the story with each person. You have Connor, who is who's trying to decide what side of this revolution he's on. You have Marcus, who's sort of leading it. You get to decide how he does, and then you have Kara, who is just sort of has her own personal story, but you're deciding how to go about this with all kinds of twists and turns. And there's a lot of great characters. And it's like I sit there and I want to replay through the game because this is a game I like so much I want to platinum, but at the same time I'm like, I don't want to spoil that first thing. I mean, granted, I'm going to have to. At the same time want to see everything the game has to offer, but at the same time I'm like, I just want to just leave it. Like that's the story.
Exactly.
But so I probably will eventually. Maybe here while school's off, maybe I'll go through it again to try to platinum it. But it's a fun game. I like it.
It's game design. When you think about it, it's just complete insanity of having to do so many different animations and story components and dialogue and all this shit that you might not ever see. Nobody might see it.
Yeah, like the first mission, the opening one which they showed off has 6 branches. And I'm like, okay, and then one of them has like 12. Yeah, like the crazy. 4th mission, and I'm like, and it's like, and the thing is, you can watch the chart and be like, wait, what else could I have done there? Yeah. Like what? Yep. There was a choice. I just did what the game. Oh crap! So, and it's just. I love that aspect of it. The game's addicting because of that flow chart, and I'm like, oh, yeah. What would have happened? Yeah. I didn't realize there was a choice earlier in the game, and that and sometimes it tells you how you get to that choice if there's like an option, which I kind of don't like, because it says like, well, one of the characters dies early, and then you go meet him and say, oh, you did this in the beginning, so I'm like, oh, so he wouldn't have died if I didn't. Oh, I wish I didn't know that. Because now it's just like, oh, just don't make that decision next time. Mm-hmm. But fun game. I like it a lot.
Number 4, Spider-Man. I love this game. I think arguably maybe the best superhero video game. Maybe.
I think it's up there.
It's close.
I think. I mean, it's basically either that or Arkham City.
Yeah.
Maybe the original Spider-Man 2. That one's okay. That one was a good early one. But yeah, it's either Arkham City or this one.
Because this game does everything that Spider-Man 2 does, and then some.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Insomniac nailed so many things about Spider-Man and what a Spider-Man game should be. One, I think the combat's really fun to play. I mean, it's kind of a Batman Arkham style combat with the Spider-Man twist of jumping around and shooting web in this dude's face and throwing an electric, bomb at this dude. Like, it's exciting to play, but then swinging around the whole city, getting from one end to another just like that, pretty much, because you eventually get so good at it, and it feels so good to move around. They really nailed that. They nailed Peter Parker. They nailed most of the characters, and honestly, the story is really well done, and especially the ending is fantastic. But then the one thing I think about this game, and I go, it's insane how well they did it. Is like, they did such a great job of recreating New York City and making it feel so populated and so alive.
Yeah. Without
really major technical limitations, like, they really nailed the scale of the buildings and the feel of the city. But then when you're down on the streets, it's just filled with cars and people.
Yeah.
That like, they really nailed bringing New York City to life. I mean, they did a lot of great things with this game. I'd say the only thing that really gets me is some of the side missions aren't that great. Some of the collectibles suck to get. The parts where you're playing as Miles Morales and Mary Jane aren't the greatest.
Yeah.
So they didn't get everything, but they got so much, and they got so much right and left so much still to come. especially story-wise, that it's very exciting.
Yeah, I think the single greatest achievement of this game, outside of the story, is the fact that it managed to take stuff that I hate from these kind of games, and just because of how you traverse New York, it makes it fun. Like, yes, going for a lot of the collectibles is a little bit tedious, but getting there is fun.
Yep.
It's so it's like cool. Like some of them are like suck, like looking for the secret photos.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but
they're secret, not supposed to find them.
Nope.
I did. I thought there was.
What kind of
it was
secret
a trophy.
photos are we talking about here?
Ooh, yeah.
Nudes?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought I did all those because I thought it was a trophy. It is not, and I was really sad when I went out of my way to find all 50 of them or however many there are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oof.
You can look up the trophies online.
Yeah, I could, but I don't.
Imagine that.
Oh.
Are you aware?
I got the platinum, bro.
I did too.
Did you?
I did. I got the platinum. I got it.
Me too. I didn't even play the game, but I got the platinum.
Yeah, I got it. Thanksgiving, so like a month ago.
Oh,
Over
cool.
Thanksgiving break. I just
Be thankful for that.
Crime sucked so much to get them all.
just
oh my goodness.
Honestly, the thing that I found, which if you're still playing some of the DLC to do it in, just fast travel. Usually within like a minute, one will spawn if you fast travel.
Yeah.
I just found that online because I'm like, there's got to be an easier way, and it's like, yep, just fast travel, and usually one will spawn, and you don't have to do new crimes. You can just if you get 5 police chases, then it's just 5 of them, and that counts. So,
Crimes.
yeah, but fun game.
Commit crimes.
Yeah. Number 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Your game of the year.
My number 1, both movies and video games. My number 1 ended up at number 3.
Yeah.
Oof.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is my favorite game of the year. First off, I know there's some shortcomings with the game. The story isn't like the most enjoyable thing in the world. It's not bad. It's not great. It's weird. It's weird, and some things that you do are like, all right, like it's a little strange. It takes a bit of a different turn from like Assassin's Creed Unity and Syndicate and things like that, but it's not too different. It's just weird. Especially whichever character you do. Well, if you pick Cassandra, Alexios will be like the villain in the game, but if you pick Alexios, Cassandra will be the villain in the game. So, like, for me, I picked Cassandra. So, like, the stuff that happens with Alexios is just a little strange. I don't want to say too much more than that. The game is, and this is sort of depends what you like in games. It's a long game, and it can be even longer depending on how you play it. Especially the way I play it. It's a very long game. In fact, at some points, you will kind of get sick of it, and you need to take a little bit of a break from it. Still my number 1, though, because I think this game, at least looking at like older Assassin's Creed games, even Origins, it's improved. Like, it's less buggy than Origins, and there's still some like ragdoll things with it. It's a little strange. I ran into like one bug in the game. It was kind of very just out of the ordinary. But it's improved that. Like, the abilities are really fun to use. It sort of gives you this option of... Assassin's Creed games used to be kind of like, okay, well, I can go in... Like, some of the games used to be like, all right, I want to avoid fighting people now because I kind of get outnumbered. And it didn't really feel like you get to fight the way you wanted. There was just like an attack button. Now it's really like... It gives you the option, like, I want to go in and fight these people. And I have these abilities that I can use that make it 10 times as fun. So like boarding other ships is really fun. Like when you get tired, like you get like spotted or something and you come out of stealth, actually going into a fight and just straight up going after people can be really fun. And it's just every way to play this game to me, I had a blast with. Things like the Spartan kick really changed the game because it just really rushes things sometimes. If you're like, you jump on a ship, you're like, all right, I don't feel like fighting all these guys because I just jumped on another ship. All right, I'm going to kick you off. And then whenever I'm going to kick you off, and whenever I'm going to kick you off, and then like that's it. So it really helped the pacing of the game. Like things didn't take too long. Like everything is just like, to me, it's the right pacing. It's the right amount of fun. The game looks amazing. It's one of the most.
Yeah,
it's one of the best looking games of this generation. I still don't. It doesn't beat Horizon Zero Dawn for me, but The scope of the game, seeing island. When you're on an island, you see another island. You can see like the buildings on the island, and it's like small details. It's crazy. Some of the regions are really beautiful and really different from each other. It's just a fantastic game to me. It's really, to me, the best Assassin's Creed game, but it's officially Origins changed up Assassin's Creed and did some new things. Like, this is Assassin's Creed now, but there's still some things with Origins I was like, Odyssey to me is the Assassin's Creed game. Like, I am so looking forward to Assassin's Creed moving forward after this game. It's back on my radar to me. Mm-hmm. Assassin's Creed is like back in the elite video games for me. This game was just so good. So many really interesting side quests that work in mythology. Like there was one where you have to help this guy. What's his name? Supidio or something. It's Oedipus spelled backward. And he locked himself in this cage because he had this like prophecy that he was going to kill his mother and his father. The way that side quest goes is it can be very funny. It can be very funny because you end up killing his mother, I guess, who's a bandit, which there's no choice in that. But then there's another option that's just it's really funny. So the game has a sense of humor. It's just all around a really incredible game to me. I was surprised how much I loved it. The setting is incredible. The recreation of Greece, all the different islands, Mykonos. You got like Athens looks great. Thermopylae is really awesome. All the I forget the name of the region that Thermopylae's in, but there's all kinds of like forests. I just love the game. Like I could keep going. There's so much to the game. You know, you fight like mythological creatures.
Even like, I like the big conquest battles that you can get in.
Yeah.
They're fun. The whole mercenaries thing is growing on me a lot. That's a very intense feature. Like, the other night I played, and I barely even touched a story. And
You're barely hard.
Yeah. Well, I ended up having sex with an old lady, and then getting into the most intense fight with a hog I've ever had in a video game ever, and I fucking lost. It pissed me off, but it took me like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
There goes all that time, but it was still really fun to play.
I mean, between like the animals, the mercenaries, the different cult members.
Yep.
I mean, there's so much fun stuff to the game.
It's a lot of games.
Next up is Vikings.
That's
Gotta be.
Oh,
I have ideas. Like I've thought about it. I have the whole game planned out. Instead of conquest battles, you have like Viking raids.
Why not?
But yeah, I thought about it so much. It's just an incredible game.
Yeah.
To me.
Number 2.
The real number 1. Fuck this list. That's the real number 1. Fuck what you heard.
Yeah. Number 2, Red Dead
Redemption
2.
Red Dead 2. Red Dead's great in a lot of ways. I'm enjoying a lot of what I'm doing with the game. I think it does one of the best jobs of having a large ensemble cast of characters and making them all feel distinct. Mm-hmm. Whereas even if I haven't played the game, I honestly I haven't played the game in like a week, but then and then I hopped on this morning and I was like, oh yeah, right, you're and I remembered all right, right, you're the uncle, you're the older dude, and then there's a dude who goes in town and gets drunk and gets into fights, and I'm like, yeah, I remember. It does a great job building these characters, and the world is big, and even though it's one of those things where my gut reaction is to go, there should be more in it, but it's also super realistic in that sense, in which there's a lot of nothing in the Wild West, and some of just the details are both great and mind-numbing.
Yes.
In some ways.
Yes.
The fact that things like everything in the environment is there. You can your horse, you can hit a rock and your horse just won't naturally go over it like most games, and you'll fall off the horse and potentially break your horse's leg, and it's like crap. You go into a store and you can either look in the shelves, look at the catalog. It's the draw distance is also how far you can see is nuts.
Stunning.
It's just And the only thing that I think holds this game back for me is like just a few small dumb decisions that I'm like, why? Like, I can understand only being able to fast travel to a specific point.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
But why do I have to go to one of those points in order to fast travel to a different point?
Yeah.
That's...
like a Witcher 3 thing.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm like...
What even worse? Like, there's even less fast travel in this game than The Witcher 3. And I mean, I understand they made this huge world. They want you to explore it. But at a certain point when you are deeper into the story, it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I just want to do the story. I don't want to be riding for 10 fucking minutes to my next journey.
And it's also like the game is super weird. The horse control's really weird and the shooting's really weird. But at the same time, you can turn the auto aim. It'll basically aim for you.
Yeah.
And you can double tap X and it'll just go to your waypoint.
See,
and it's like, and I'm like, which I like it because it's like awesome. But it's like, I shouldn't want to have to rely on that or to hit double tap X and go, But it's just little things that bother me about
to me,
the game.
the one thing that bothers me, which is such an old school Rockstar, completely outdated in 2018 thing, is needing to press X over and over and over and over and over again to fucking sprint.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that anymore in 2018. It's annoying.
Just
it's
click.
There is
ridiculous.
this thing called the left stick.
Yeah, just click the left stick
Exactly.
once and then you're sprinting.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. I just like how Assassin's Creed does it. Like, honestly, there is no sprint button.
Yeah,
they
you
just
just
put
run.
you at a decent speed.
Yeah.
You know? It's ridiculous. But I think this game is impressive for sure. I mean, the amount of details that are fantastic are so, like, you totally did not have to do this, but it just makes the world come alive a little bit more. I love the characters and I love the story. I'm over halfway through the game, or at least the story, and it really picks up and it really gets to some very intense situations and intense places. And I like the whole aspect with the camp. I liked it in the beginning. Where I'm at now, like, you end up doing a story mission that completely breaks the economy of the game, so you have so much money it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
That's kind of like what it was in
annoying.
Grand Theft Auto a little bit.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying because I like kind of scrounging all the bodies for money and, putting in just a little bit, really divvying that stuff up. I like that stuff, but the characters are really incredible, especially Arthur Morgan. I think Arthur Morgan is a very great protagonist. He's the best Rockstar has had because he's a guy that he knows what he has to do, and what his gang is doing is not right in a way, because of where society is and the things that they're doing to people. But at the same time, he doesn't want to, like, let go of those people. He doesn't want to, disappoint them in a way. He's like a very complicated guy, and I find that just very exciting. A lot of the missions are cool, at least so far. And yeah, it's a great game, and it's one of those Rockstar games where you can do whatever the fuck you want and really just lose yourself. If you want to play poker for 5 hours, you can play poker for 5 hours.
Yep.
If you want to go hunting for some crazy shit, go hunting. Or just engage with the story. That's what I've been doing, just because I'm, that's the part of the game that I'm enjoying the most. But yeah, it's cool.
And it's like the game which is great because at least with this it's not super vague in that it gives you like so much to do. That if you don't want to do the story, you can go hunt these gunslingers and go find them. You can go look for treasure maps and find gold and do all kinds of stuff. I haven't gotten that far yet, but apparently you can go hunt for dinosaur bones. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, and it's weird because, I mean, granted there was some choice aspect, or there might have only been one in GTA 5, but I mean, I find like the choices is like are cool, but then the existence of GTA Online makes the decision less hard, simply because I'll be a good guy in my game, so I get the best ending, and then online I'll just rob and kill everyone all the time. You know what I mean? So, which I haven't done yet, but
yeah. Last thing I'll say real quick is some of the character interactions. It's just insane that I might interact with them at some point after some event. After at times you get choices to do, but then yours is totally different.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just that stuff's crazy. Have you played it all?
Yeah, I I'm actually glad that I did play the game a bit more. I did get to play it a bit more because I'm not too terrible. I'm far enough into it, I think. But I did play it like lately. I've been playing it a bit more. I was really enjoying the game. Just the more that you play it, the more you sort of realize that the game trips over itself a few too many times with certain things. Like, interacting with people and aiming your gun is the same button.
Yeah.
Which to me is just
that doesn't make sense.
Weird. Because I just want to like talk to people and the prompt doesn't really pop up. I end up like aiming my gun at them.
Yeah.
Other things like, like you said with like both you guys could have said with like the horse. I think the horse controls a little strange. Having to like double tap X to sort of get it up to speed. Things like that. The game does trip over itself. It's a little too detailed for its own good.
Sometimes,
like there were just a few too many buttons.
Yes. Like the whole core system to me is kind of dumb. Like because they don't go deep enough with it to the point where it doesn't affect you as much as it should.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, just get rid of it and give me like a normal health and stamina system.
and then a special bar. Like
either go all the way or fucking don't.
It's also like just as weird because there's like all kinds of just little things to kind of understand. Like it's like you have like the circle itself. Like there's like a circle around it, but then you also have the picture on the inside of like how high it up is, or if you get one of the things that just boosts it for a period of time, and then it's just like, yeah. I don't go out of my way to like get stuff. I'm just like, oh, I don't have any Deadeye for a while. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. The game is enjoyable if you take your time with it, but it's sort of like a double-edged sword in ways. Like where I want to take my time with it, I want to go slowly, I want to do things, but then that's extending the game a bit more, which I like, but then it's giving me more time to see those things where I'm like...
this is a game you kind of can't rush through.
Yeah, I did a while ago, like when you go into town the first time, and you sort of get into a fight in that saloon, and you have to like fight that big guy, or whatever. I just don't remember the game ever telling me how to like block. I think maybe it did at the very beginning, but I didn't remember the game telling me how to like block a melee attack.
Yes.
And for some reason, every time I tried to punch this guy, he would block it and just hit me, and I lost. And I was just like, that was frustrating because I couldn't like punch him because he would block it every time. It's just sort of like small things you sort of run into like that where I'm like, okay, well, let me pause the game, go into settings, go into controls, find where I actually look at the controls, go into the controls, and then it's just like the controller scheme will pop up, and then it like shifts between 3 different things, and I have to like wait. I'm like, okay, it's not that, okay, melee, oh, then it shifts again. I'm like, okay, melee, okay, that's block, and I have to go back out. It's a very extensive game, and that isn't always great for a video game. A video game is supposed to be a video game, and it is in a lot of ways, but, double-edged sword.
Right. So then number 1.
Because I did on my list have Odyssey, Red Dead 2, and then God of War, but then I got to play in Red Dead 2 a little bit more, and then, it sort of moved it back for me a little.
Yeah. So number 1, 2018, Game of the Year, goes to God of War.
Yeah.
Kind of unsurprising, but God of War is a great game. And to me, a really special game. I think it's the best game on PlayStation 4, and it's a top 5 video game of all time to me. And it's a game that I always think about all the time, just certain story moments, certain combat sequences, and, just to think about what they did to totally transform God of War into something like this compared to what it was.
Yeah.
It's just insane. And to me, it's the perfect sized world because it's somewhat open world, but it's not at the same time. You kind of just have a hub and you go off to do all these different things. I think that's a genius move because you're giving the world a lot of scale, but then you're also not doing so much of a world that the player's going to feel overwhelmed, and then you can throw more detail in it to bring it to life, which I feel like they did. And it's just great, and the story's great. They could have done so much more with this Norse mythology, but they were smart about it, and we know we'll get a lot more of that in the sequel. Kind of what everybody was thinking was going to be there, but and then what they did to transform Kratos into a character that was kind of a joke to someone that you actually really care about. What they did with Atreus is incredible. It's a fucking awesome
game. You can go next.
I go next?
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said. This is one of those games where I look at it like, and it's a lot of these games are mostly on or PS4 games, which is really funny. That like The Last of Us or Uncharted 4, where I look at this game and I'm like, I'm never gonna recapture that moment of playing through this game the first time.
Yep.
And I do plan on playing through this game because they added New Game Plus and all kinds of other things, and I'm like, I want to play this game, but I'm like,
it's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. Yeah. The first time playing through this game was so special. I don't know if a game has created a world better than this game. Just everything fits. It makes sense. Like Tyler said, it's the perfect size. And I just think this was just the perfect storm of things coming together to make quite possibly one of my favorite games of all time. Cory Barlog is my favorite person in gaming right now. He's awesome. Just listening to him talk about this game and how much obvious care was put into this game, and just little things, is great. It has some of the best soundtrack stuff, and Atreus and Kratos are awesome because they're really the only two characters you have from much of the game. I mean, you have a Mimir who just kind of hangs in your back pocket for a long time, but like it's just those two. And that's all it is. And that's awesome that you get to see their relationship change throughout the 20 or so hours or whatever it is to beat this game. And there's just enough stuff to do that it's fun. It doesn't seem like a grind. Well, one part, the stuff in the one section, the one world, I forget what it's called, with the mist. Niflheim. Yeah, that was a bit of a grind. But everything else, I'm like, this is awesome. This is really cool. And this is like, I knew this game was going to be great, and then it was phenomenal. So
I really enjoyed the game. Let me say that there are a lot of things I really liked about the game. After playing this game, going to other games and not being able to throw an axe and recall it just felt like it was weird. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like, why don't other games have this? This is such a cool thing to have.
Yeah.
It really works well in the game. I think the story is great. The music is great. A lot of the environments are great. There are some things for me, I guess, that set back the game a little bit. Some things like the boss battles. The game is very cinematic, which, again, sort of like I said about Red Dead 2, is sort of a double-edged sword, I guess. Like when you fight Baldur, I guess, not too long into the game, it's a surprise. The coolest parts of that are the cutscene. Like, the actual fight doesn't live up to that. Like, it's more of like watching it, and it's awesome. For me, I mean, that's some of the game sort of takes that turn where I feel like the cooler stuff I'm watching, I'm not exactly playing all the time. But I do enjoy watching it. It's just some things like that where, like, it's awesome, but I sort of take a step back from it a little bit. The game is really good though. Like I said, the environments are really awesome when you're just in the boat rowing around. It's really nice. Like listening to like the different stories that Kratos will tell or Mimir will tell. Some of like the final battle in the game, I guess, is like this. It's big. There's a lot going on. It's really awesome. When you fight dragons in the game, especially the first one that you fight, is just really such a surprise, and it's this awesome moment. There are things like that that God of War has changed a lot, but it really keeps a lot of things like that in the game, like these big moments that really make God of War God of War. There are so many things about the game that I appreciate, like the attention to, maybe not attention to detail, but just the fact that this game, not a lot of other games have nuance anymore to them. And this game has a lot of it, where you have to pay attention and listen to what people are saying, and you understand more about the world, and you pay attention to the environments, and you sort of learn about the game through that. But yeah, controversial. I think the game is really good. I think it's just a little overrated for me. It's controversial, but I think it's just there are a few things that hopefully they change up in the next game.
Yeah. Kind of like the other one of the other big PlayStation exclusives this year, Spider-Man. Like God of War has very exciting places that it can go with its story.
Yeah,
and even from gameplay.
Yeah.
It's
well, I mean, the game ending with like Fimbulwinter.
Yep.
And then the sequel. I think they said they're probably going to try to turn it into like another trilogy.
Yeah.
Which I think would be really awesome. Because I mean, this game really, Baldur's not like. He's cool. He's not like the biggest god out there. But, I mean, it's a nice way to start with, like, Magni and Modi and... Like, you start off small, and then in the next game...
Yeah. It was
next game
smart.
you kill Odin.
Yeah.
Next game. Well, the third game.
Probably the third game. It would be interesting if it took that turn in the second game, just like, oh, you thought you were waiting for the third game for this.
Nope. Now you gotta fight. But no, Thor is the final battle.
Yeah, or what if you
be
do
Thor.
just one more game in Norse mythology, you end up having to kill Thor and Odin because they want to kill you now.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck, and now you have to go to, like, Egyptian stuff, or I don't fucking know. Egypt. I don't know.
Egypt. Yeah.
Celtic, I don't fucking know. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of exciting things.
So.
Yeah.
It's been a great year for games.
Fenrir, probably coming in next couple games. I mean, they have Jormungand, so that's cool. Thor's going to kill him at some point. Or
you get to watch that battle. You get to watch Thor take. Well, what if we do it?
They kill each other. That's the interesting. They're probably gonna let Kratos kill Thor.
Yeah.
They gotta.
Yeah.
But Jormungand and Thor kill each other in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Odin gets killed by a giant wolf. Yeah.
Cool
So
stuff.
it's gonna be interesting because they have rewritten the mythology a little bit in an interesting way.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how they're gonna rewrite it all to like.
Yeah.
Now Kratos kills everyone. Or Kratos, like, he's already sort of befriended. Kratos has aligned himself with, like, the evil gods in Norse mythology. Like, oh, fuck it. Everyone should play the game right now.
Right.
Loki is technically Atreus is his son. Jormungand are, like, friends. So Fenrir is probably going to be, like, buddy-buddy. And then, like, yeah. So he's going to be, like, yeah. He's going to have this little mini army.
You get another huge battle like when you fight Kronos, except you fight Surtur. Boom!
That'd be cool.
He's like 10 stories tall, and it's just like.
And
whoops.
really, in the biggest twat.
Well, no, Surtur would probably be his pal.
Plot twist.
There
That's
it
what
is.
I wanted to say, but I said twat twist. And the biggest plot twist is that turtle that's a tree is the bad guy all along.
Oh no, Charlie!
Could be.
Yeah.
Is Charlie? Oh no.
He's the last boss who got killed.
Yeah.
And God of War.
Gotta kill Charlie.
Yeah, he's voiced by John Hamm.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.